all the functions are covered in e-business. So we should understand that e-commerce is a part of e-business. Any kind of interaction between any two business firms can be considered as B2B commerce or business to business commerce. We have so many websites which are doing online business. So whenever we have to do this online business, the first thing is we have to get the registration done. Hello everyone, I am Purnima, faculty in the Department of Commerce, Vidhyaashram Pre-University College, Temple of Excellence. In this session, I will be having a discussion on Chapter 5, Session 1. That is, in Chapter 5, we will be studying about the emerging modes of business. Let us have a look at what is the emerging modes of business. Now, in this chapter, we will be having an introduction of what are the various ways in which the business is evolving. So, we all know that with the advent of the internet, the business community has had lot of changes. So, because of the internet, we are having lot of changes in the way of doing business. So, we need not have the same old format of having a shop and then selling the goods. Nowadays, e-business is becoming the most popular business. Now, because of the high-rise buildings and also the amount involved in transportation, etc., people would like, in the comfort of their home, they would like to do shopping, and that is why e-business has emerged as one of the most promising businesses in today's world of computers. Now, let us have a look in what does the introduction tell about e-business. So, here we have the examples of online business. So, we have the Amazon, we have the Flipkart, we have the Snapdeal. So, all these businesses, they don't need any introduction as such, right? Because most of you all would have purchased at one time or other from any of these websites. So, let us have a look at the introduction. So, the manner of conducting business is referred to as the mode of business, and the prefix emerging underlines the fact that these changes are happening here and now, and these trends are likely to continue. So, emerging modes of business. So, mode here we mean that the business is evolving, and as such the businesses and these changes are happening here and now, and these trends are likely to continue. There are a lot of changes happening over the business horizon, and these changes will be happening more and more, and they are likely to continue in future also. Now, the three strongest trends that are shaping the business. Now, why this e-business is becoming so very popular? So, what are the three major things that have made this e-business very, very popular? The first aspect is digitization. Now, what is this digitization? The conversion of text, sound, images, video, and other content into a series of ones and zeros that can be transmitted electronically. So, because of this digitization, now what do we mean by digitization? Digitization is nothing but you convert everything into the language which the computer understands. So, the computer understands only the binary language. What is that? 0 and 1. So, this is the binary language that computer understands, and nowadays we are converting everything into this 0 and 1. So, whether it is images, sound, text, video, and any other content, so everything is being digitized. So, when it is digitized, it can be transmitted electronically. And the next factor which is important for this e-business is outsourcing. So, what is this outsourcing? So, we have all heard of business process outsourcing. What is this business process outsourcing? In other words, you just give a part of your work to somebody else. So, you allot some of your work to somebody else. So, it may be in some other country or in some other nation. So, depending on the job you are giving, so you are just outsourcing the jobs. Then, third one is internationalization and globalization. globalization. Nowadays, we are having global business. So what is this? So we can buy or purchase or sell from to any part of the world. You can also purchase from any part of the world. So this is what we call as internationalization and globalization. So the communication and technology has reduced the world to a global village. So we can just communicate from across the globe to any part of the world with the flip of our fingertips. So this has made the distances shorter. So we can communicate with our relatives, with our friends in any part of the world. In the same way, the business also has been successful because of its various networks across the globe. So all these factors have influenced the emergence of the e-business, that is the electronic business. So this is the most popular kind of business and it is here to stay. So as long as we have the internet, as long as we have the computer and the PCs and as long as we have the mobiles with us, this e-business is here to stay and it will rule in future also. Now, let us have the meaning of what is the meaning of e-business. Now, e-business may be defined as the conduct of industry, trade and commerce using the computer network, that is the internet. So, when we mean business, it includes trade, commerce and industry. So, what do we mean by e-business? So, e-business includes trade, commerce and industry done through the internet. So, the internet is the main factor in setting up the e-business. Next, e-business versus e-commerce. Now, let us have a comparison between what is e-business and e-commerce here. So, e-commerce covers a firm's interactions with its customers and suppliers over the internet. E-business includes not only e-commerce but also other electronically conducted business functions such as production, inventory management, product development, accounting and finance, human resource management, etc. Now, whenever we speak of e-business and e-commerce, we use it interchangeably. That is, e-business and e-commerce, we use it as one word. But actually, e-business is more vast than e-commerce. So, e-commerce is a part of e-business. Now, a firm will have interaction with all its stakeholders with the help of e-commerce. So, in other words, e-commerce, through the e-commerce, they will be having an interaction with the suppliers and everybody. Whereas, e-business includes not only e-commerce. So, in e-business, it includes e-commerce, but also other electronically conducted business functions like production. So, in e-business, we can include production, we can include inventory management. So, why we can include inventory management? So, it will be also done through e-commerce only. Then product development, accounting and finance and human resource. So, for all this we need the computers, and through the computers only we will be having all the whatever data collection we need, everything will be done through the computers, and as such all the functions are covered in e-business. So, we should understand that e-commerce is a part of e-business. Then e-business versus e-commerce. So, e-business is therefore clearly much more than buying and selling over the internet, that is e-commerce. So, in e-commerce, we just say that there is buying and selling through the internet, that is e-commerce. But in e-business, so it includes all the activities which are done in the business. So, whether it is production, whether it is management of the inventory, whether it is talking to the customers, everything will be encompassed, or everything will be included in e-business. Then, next, let us look into the scope of e-business. So, what is the scope of e-business? So, in the scope of e-business, we have to understand 4 components here. First one is B2B commerce. Second one is B2C commerce. Third one is intra-B commerce. Fourth one is C2C commerce. Now, let us take up the first one. What is this B2B commerce? So, B2B commerce refers to business commerce. So, whenever there is a business or institution functioning in an area or in an environment, so it will have to have interaction with all its suppliers. So, whenever there is an interaction between its suppliers of raw materials, then suppliers of all the things which the business needs, so that will be defined as B2B commerce. Suppose it is an automobile manufacturing industry, so it will require all kinds of spare parts needed to assemble the engine and also to assemble the automobile into a vehicle. So for all this, it needs interaction with all the suppliers of all these parts, and all the interaction which it has with all its suppliers, that will be termed as B2B commerce. So in other words, any kind of interaction between any two business firms can be considered as B2B commerce or business to business commerce. Then this B2B commerce was originally made for business opportunities, that is EDI, that is electronic data interface. So through this EDI, there was an interaction between two kinds of businesses, whether there was to place an order or to receive an order. So everything could be done through this EDI, that is electronic data information system interface. Now this B2B commerce, it also includes the firm's own inventory management, whatever it is having. It will also, through this B2B commerce, we can also see that the supply chain is properly monitored, and we can also see that the demand for the product can also be adequately monitored with the help of this B2B commerce. Then the next important constituent of e-business is B2C commerce. Now, what do we mean by B2C commerce? So this means business to customer. Business to customer. So what do we mean by business to customer? So whenever a customer who wants to make a place an order with the business, so he will be placing an order through the online mode, or whenever there is a business organization which is doing online business, so it will be selling through online. So whatever the products it has to offer, it will be offered online through the virtual mode, that is with the help of the website. It will be advertising all its products, and then the customers can just log into the website and shop for all their products. And one more important feature is the online products are much cheaper than the products which are sold in the showrooms as such, and as such the consumers are more attracted towards these online purchases. Now, whenever the business wants to do a business on online mode, then he need not have lot of investment. He can always do it through the online mode. He can just use, with the help of a computer, he can just show whatever he has, and the customers will just log into the website and order whatever the goods they need. Nowadays, we can see that the customers are also becoming very choosy, and they want customized products. So these kind of customized products can also be sold by the business through this online mode. And as such, these online transactions are becoming more and more popular today because of the speed in which it is just doing the transactions. So whenever you order for a movie, or whether it is any software orders, the company, a very limited period of time, it will just process the order and send the goods online. So whether you are ordering for ebooks, or whether you are ordering for movies or music tapes or anything referring to the software, it will be processed within seconds, and it will be delivered to the PCs of the customers. So the time taken is very limited, and the speed with which the transactions are flowing is very fast. And moreover, the customers also have the ease of payment, that is, they have various modes in which they can make the payment, and all these things have made this online business very attractive. So the customers can shop any time of the day, 24/7, and any time they want, they can just make the payment and then can just get delivery of the goods. So that is one of the most attractive features of this B2C commerce. So B2C commerce is gaining more and more popularity today. Now, moreover, this business, if the customer does not like any of the products, he is always free to just exchange them for any others, or he has the cashback guarantee. So all this have made this business very, very successful. Then the next constituent of e-business is intra-B-commerce. Now, what is this intra-B-commerce? So this intra-business commerce means it is a type of interaction within the institution itself. So the kind of interaction between the various departments of the same organization, we call it as intra-B-commerce. Now, with the help of this B2C commerce, we are able to even collect the feedback from the customers, whether the customers like the products or not and what kind of modification they need. So all these are done very, very neatly in the B2C commerce, and as such, we can also collect orders from the customers, and then the order processing, everything will be taken up in intra-B commerce. So whenever the customer places an order, the department which is collecting the order, it will book all the orders and send it to the production department, where it will be processed, and then it will be taken up by the marketing department, and then it will be delivered to the customers. So in this way, the chain of activities which follow the order of a customer, so they will be undertaken with the help of the intra-B commerce. Now, this intra-B commerce it has become very convenient for the business organization. So depending on the orders which it is receiving, so it will make all the necessary arrangements for the delivery of the order. So whenever an order is placed, the production department, it will check with the production department whether such a goods are ready, and then it will arrange for the dispatch of such goods, and within a limited time frame, these goods will reach the hands of the consumer, and at the same time the consumer also will be making payment, and as such the businessman need not wait for a very long time for the stock to get sold, because immediately he will be receiving the payment for all the goods sold. So all these things have made this intra-B commerce very, very successful. Then we have the C2C commerce. Now what do we mean by C2C commerce? So this is customer to customer. So what do we mean by customer to customer? So in this customer to customer, so we are having a separate website, or we are having a separate space for those goods which are not ordered regularly. That is, we are creating a space for those goods like used books or used clothes or used items. So whenever there is something which we have used it for a very long time and we want to dispose that, we can always do it through this C2C commerce or customer to customer commerce. So anybody who wants to do this C2C commerce, he should first get registered and then he should place the order, and later on the order will be processed. But in the C2C commerce, so it is nothing but customer to customer commerce. So here there won't be any regular transactions, but it will be a 1 or 2 time transaction as such. And if there are any electronic items or anything which is of not use to the family, then it can always be sold through these websites. Now we have heard of the OLX, and there are so many Cashify. There are so many websites which are having access to these C2C customers, which will be helpful in connecting two customers. A buyer is there and a seller is there. So the seller wants to just dispose of that item, and there is one buyer who wants to purchase that item. So in this way, the both will get satisfied, because he wants to find a buyer for his goods and this person wants to buy a seller for his good. So in this way, this C2C commerce is bringing together the buyers and sellers of various goods which were used beforehand. So this C2C commerce also is gaining more and more popularity today, and it is here to stay. Anything. So nowadays we purchase mobiles, etc., and when there is a new mobile in the market, we just sell off the old mobile. So it is easy to sell also. That is, we can sell always through the C2C commerce. So these are the various constituents of e-business. Now, one thing which makes this C2C commerce very attractive is the rating of the sellers. So, for each seller who has sold on the C2C commerce, there will be a rating given by the customers, and this rating will help the customers. So, whenever there is a seller who has sold so many products over the C2C, and then the customers say that his products are very good, and that will be through the word of mouth, it will spread to others, and that seller's products will be more on demand. So in this way, by seeing the rating in the computer itself, we can decide whether we need to purchase from that particular seller or not. So all these things are making this online business very, very attractive. Then let us see here this is a picture of the C2C business. Now we have the customer here, and we also have the customer here, and this customer wants to sell the product, and here is another customer who wants to buy the product. So this is C2C business. Now in the C2C business, the website is the middleman, and it is connecting both the customers. Now this customer will be receiving the money from the buyer, and he will be just delivering the products to this customer. So this is figure of C2C commerce. Then let us have a look into the differences between what is e-business and what is traditional business. Now if you look in the basis of ease of formation, traditional business is very difficult to make. So why do we say that traditional business is very difficult? Mostly, first one is we need to have a building, and then we need to find the resources for the building, and then we have to have furniture, we need to have a worker, etc., and fixed hours of sale and limited access. So only the surrounding area of the people, so they will be coming to the shop, and ease of formation is very difficult here in traditional business because a lot of resources are required. But in e-business, it is very, very simple. So you just need to have a computer, and we need to have internet connection. With this, we can have this e-business itself. So you don't even need to have the products with you. You can just take the orders and give it to the wholesaler, and he will sell to the ultimate consumer. So here the e-business is very simple to form, whereas traditional business, we need to have lot of resources. We have to spend for the fixed assets, we have to spend for the furniture, we have to spend for the stock, etc. And all this requires lot of time and money and efforts. Then the next one is physical presence. So in this physical presence, traditional business, physical presence is required. So the owner of the shop should sit in the shop, or he should have an assistant to handle the business. But here in e-business, there is no physical presence, is not required at all. You can just open a website and just leave it, and then orders will keep coming to the website, and through that you can just deliver the goods. Then the next basis of distinction is locational requirement. So in traditional business, we need that the proximity to the source of raw materials or the market for the products. So if you have to set up a traditional business, either we have to find a location which is closer to the source of raw materials, or you have to see a location where we get a market for the products. So that is the main aim here. But here in e-business, you don't need any particular location. You can keep the system anywhere you want, and from anywhere the customers will just log into the website. Then the cost of setting up. So in traditional business, the cost of setting up is very, very high, whereas in e-business, low, as no requirement of physical facilities. So in e-business, there is no requirement for physical facilities. We don't need building, we don't need furniture, and we don't need any of the other things which traditional business needs. We just have a computer, website, and the internet facility. Then operating cost. In traditional business, it is very high due to fixed charges associated with investment in procurement, storage, production, marketing, and distribution facilities. So in the traditional business, it has fixed charges. So what kind of fixed charges are there? It is associated with investment and procurement. So we have to procure the raw materials, we have to store it, we have to produce it, market it, and distribution. So all these are very, very high, but whereas in case of e-business, it is low as a result of reliance on network of relationships rather than ownership of resources. So the e-business is relying more on network relationships rather than the resources. Then the next kind of differentiation is the nature of contact with suppliers and customers. So in this traditional business, it is indirect, that is through the intermediaries we will be contracting our suppliers and wholesalers, but whereas in BE business, there is a direct contact between the wholesalers and the customers. Then next one is the nature of internal communication. A hierarchical form of top level management to middle level management to lower level management operates here. So in this, we can see that in a traditional business, so we have this chain of authority. So from the top level to middle level to lower level. In the same way, if there is any communication from the lower levels to the higher levels, it has to follow the chain of authority. But in this case of e-business, it is non-hierarchical. So there can be any kind of communication, vertical, horizontal, diagonal, any kind of communication is available here in e-business. Then next one is response time for meeting customers and internal requirements is very long. So in case of traditional business, we take a very long time to process the orders, but in case of e-business, it is instantaneous. That is, within instantly you can do all these functions. Then in case of shape of the organizational structure, it is vertical and tall due to hierarchy or the chain of demand. So in the traditional business, we follow the chain of command strictly, whereas in case of this, we have this horizontal and flat due to directness of command and communication. So there we have a flat structure in e-business, and because of this, we have the direct command and communication, and as such, we don't need a hierarchical structure for the e-business. Then next one is business processes and length of the cycle. So in case of a traditional business, sequential precedence, succession, relationship, purchase, production, operation, marketing, sales, the business process cycle is very long in traditional business. But in case of e-business, it is simultaneous. So different processes. Business process cycle is therefore very shorter in e-business. Then the next difference is opportunity for interpersonal touch. It is very high in traditional business but low in e-business. Then next, opportunity for physical pre-sampling of products. Here we can have the pre-sampling of the products. It is more. Here it is less. However, for digital products, such an opportunity is tremendous. You can pre-sample books, journals, software, videos, etc. So for e-business, we cannot just touch and feel the product as such, but then for some software products, it is very easy. You can have a pre-sample of musics, books, etc. and then we can order those things. Then next is ease of going global. Here it is very less. So if you have a traditional business, to go global, there are opportunities are very less, but then for e-business, cyberspace is without any boundaries. So you can have any number of, you can go for global business very, very easily. Then the government patronage, here it is shrinking. For the traditional business, the government is not supporting, whereas here technically and professionally qualified personnel are needed for e-business. Then the nature of human capital, semi-skilled and even unskilled manpower is needed, but here we need different kinds of skilled manpower to run this business. Then transaction risk. So the transaction risk is very low here due to the arm's length transactions, and here it is very high, and anonymity here. Then so we had difference between, we just now looked at the differences between traditional business and e-business. Now, let us have a look into the benefits of e-business. So, what does e-business offer us? So, first one is ease of formation and lower investment requirements. So, just now we just had a look at what is the difference between traditional business and e-business, and as such we know that e-business is very easy to set up. So, with the limited resources, whatever you have, you can just start up the e-business. So, you just need to have a computer, you need to have a website, and we need to have an internet through which whenever the customers log into the website and place the order, we can just deliver the goods. So, whatever goods you are selling, you can always sell it through the website. So, whatever is the goods you are offering, you can always show the virtual catalog to the customers, who will be selecting it, and then they will be placing the order. So, this kind of a business requires very little resources, but we need to have a very good network system. So, it is more important to have network for e-business rather than net worth. So, net worth is less here, but networking is more in this e-business. So, we need to have a network of businesses through which we can sell our products. For example, if you want to have an online restaurant, then you can always have an online restaurant. You can just network with almost all the various kinds of restaurants in the city who are giving the best food to the people, and then you can have them on your menu, and then you will be selling it through your website, that is e-business. So, this is one of the easiest to form and lowest investment requirement. So, we don't need any investment at all, we don't need any resources. Only thing is we need to have a very good network system through which we will be doing our business. Then the second benefit of e-business is convenience. Now, what is the convenience of e-business? So, 24/7 you can always run the business. Almost 365 days in a year you can run the business. So, there is no holiday as such for your business, and it is very, very convenient. So, the website is open throughout the year, all 24/7. Anybody can log in, and you can just see whoever has logged in, and you can also have a look at how many customers have logged in, what are the products which are more popular, and you can also collect the feedback for all the various products which you are offering in the website. So, this kind of e-business is very, very convenient. So, we need not sit in the shop the whole day. If you can just open a website and leave it, then if the products are very, very attractive, customers will log in for the placing the order. Then the third important benefit of e-business is speed. Now, the speed with which these products are delivered, so that is very, very attractive to the customers. So, if you are placing the order today, within 2 or 3 days the order will be delivered to the location address in which you have sent. So, the speed with which these orders are being delivered, that is the most attractive part of this e-business. So, you can just whenever a customer places an order, so you will be directing the wholesaler to just send that particular customer the order which he has placed. So in this way we will be facilitating the wholesaler also, and the customer also will be benefited. So he will get immediate delivery of its goods, and he will also be making the payment. So the speed is one of the most attractive features of this e-business. Suppose if it is anything related to software also, this e-business is very beneficial. So you can just download the movies, or you can just sell the whatever computer products you need. It can be sold online within just a few seconds. So that makes this very attractive. Then next one is global reach and access. Now, one of the most interesting feature of e-business is we can purchase from any part of the world. So the seller is open, so anybody from any part of the world can just log into your website and buy your products. So that is the most attractive feature of global reach and access. We can safely say that globalization has been possible only with this help of the internet. Through the internet, which has access all over the globe, we can always buy the products, and we can always sell the products to any part of the customers in any part of the world. Then next one is movement towards a paperless society. Now, because of e-business, everything is being recorded. So whatever transactions are going on in the e-business, so everything is being done in the software form, and it is being recorded. And as such, nowadays the government also, through all its various reforms, it is recognizing these electronically generated systems. So whatever electronically generated documents are there, so that are being recognized even by the government, and as such it is contributing to the paperless society. Now, what is this paperless society? You can always buy movie tickets online, and then we can, through the virtual ticket only, you can go and watch a cinema. So this is one of the contributors for a paperless society. Then now let us have a look at what are the limitations of e-business. Now, the first limitation of e-business is low personal touch. Now, what do we mean by this low personal touch? So as such, there is no personal interaction between the buyer and the seller here, and therefore we say that there is low personal touch here. So the buyer does not know who the seller is, and the seller does not know who the buyer is. So both will be brought together with the help of the website, and as such there is no personal contact between the buyer and the seller. The next one is incongruence between order taking, giving and order fulfillment speed. So here we can see that by the flip of a mouse we can give information to the customer, but then the delivery of the product takes a longer time. So whenever they have to give delivery of the product, the buyer would not have received the product, or if the buyer has made the payment, the seller would not have received the payment. It would have got stuck somewhere. So this is one of the drawbacks of e-business. Then the next one is need for technology capability and competence of parties to do e-business. Now, the people who want to do e-business, they should be very computer savvy. That is, they should know how to work on the computers. They should know all the system, how it operates, etc. Only then they can do e-business. So a layman cannot do e-business. Then the next limitation of e-business is increased risk due to anonymity and non-traceability of parties. So here in this e-business, the sellers and buyers don't know each other. So the buyer, they don't know each other, and as such the payments will be done through the credit card or the debit card, and then so everything, all this data will be included in the payment, and as such this data may be hacked. There is a danger of this data being hacked by the hackers as such, and the buyers who are buying through this online mode or through the credit card or the debit card, we have heard instances of them losing lot of money because of these hackers, and as such it is not safe to give away our personal information to somebody whom we don't know. So that is one of the drawbacks of this system. Then next one is people resistance. So the traditional business who are doing this business, they don't like this e-business. Why? Because these e-business people, they have lot of contacts and they are becoming more and more popular, and as such the traditional people who are doing the business, they don't like this e-business. The process of new way of doing things causes stress in people and they may resist this e-business. Then the last one is ethical fallouts. Now, what do we mean by ethical fallouts? So, if the person's employees working in an organization, there is a danger of the employer hacking into the emails of this employees, and some of the vital information or the personal information about the employees, it may reach the employers. So all these bring about ethical issues which are not very nice to hear, and as such this is one of the drawbacks of e-business. Now, let us have a look at what are online transactions. So, online transactions, operationally, one may visualize 3 stages involved in online transactions. So, we all know we have at one time or the other, we would have purchased anything online. So, what is the various steps in the purchase of online here? Firstly, the pre-purchase or sale stage includes advertising and information seeking. So, in this online transactions, the seller will be advertising his products or he will be engaged in promotional activities of his products, and then there will be a huge number of buyers there waiting to buy, and they will be seeking information about the latest features of the product and the price of the product, etc. And firstly, there will be a information giving and information seeking. Then the second stage is the purchase or the sale stage. So in this stage, it comprises such as the price negotiation, closing of purchase, sales deal, payment, and thirdly the delivery stage. Now in the second stage, we have the placing the order, that is we purchase the products or sell the products. So in this stage, we have the price negotiation. So what is the ideal price which will be agreed upon by both the parties? Then we close the deal of sale or purchase, and lastly the making of payment and the delivery stage. Now let us have a look into the process of online transactions. Now, what is this online transaction comprise of? Now, the first step in the online transaction is registration. So, whenever you have to buy online or through any of the Amazon.com or Flipkart.com or Snapdeal.com, so we have so many websites which are doing online business. So, whenever we have to do this online business, the first thing is we have to get the registration done. So whatever is our name, we have to give the details, our address, our name, etc., and it will be registered. Now, why do they make this registration compulsory? So once we are registered under a certain website, so that registration will become a reference for the seller. So whenever this person buys anything from the shop, he can just purchase the products and put it in his cart, and then he can place the order. So in this way, this registration and the shopping, it will contain a password which nobody else can just know, and then only the buyer and seller will be knowing this, and in this way we can just order the products online. So this is the registration part. So whenever you get registered to a website, it will be safe for you because you will be protected by the password which is generated. So if you don't have this registration system, anybody can place an order in anybody else's name, and then they can always deny that they have placed the order. So it is made mandatory for registration of the person who is buying the product. Then Now, in the second step, we have this placing an order. So, while placing the order, we can always shop for all the goods we need and just place it in the cart, and then we can place the order. Just like we go shopping in a shopping mall, the same way, whatever goods are offered for sale in the website, we can always have a look at those goods and just put it in our cart, and then we can place an order with that particular seller. Then the third step is the payment mechanism. So the payment mechanism is one of the most important step in this e-business or the online transactions. Now the payment mechanism has been very flexible and more customer friendly. Now why do we say that it is customer friendly? Firstly, because they have the system of cash on delivery. Now what is this cash on delivery? So once the customer receives the product, he examines the product, only then he can pay the cash. So this is a very convenient system of buying the products. So in case he is not satisfied with the product, he can immediately just return the products within the next week and then get the refund for that particular product. Then the second option available for the customer is the check. So he can also make the payments through the check facility. So the delivery boy, when he is delivering the product, he can collect a check from the customer. Then the next kind of payment mechanism is net banking transfer. Now what is this net banking transfer? So through the net banking, we can always make payments for this online transactions. Then next one, we have the use of debit card or the credit cards. Now the debit cards and credit cards, also referred to as the plastic money, they are becoming very popular nowadays. Now why they are becoming very popular? Because we will be giving all the details and the bank will be transferring that amount to the credit of that particular seller, and the purchases account will be debited. So in case of credit card, the bank will be immediately giving the credit to the customer, and in case of debit card, the customer's SB account will be debited for that amount. Then the next important payment method is the digital cash. So this is one of the latest in this kind of a system. So one kind of payment through the digital cash. Then next, let us have a look at the safety and security of e-transactions and e-business risks. Now let us have a look at what is the e-security and safety of e-transactions and e-business risk. Now in this, first we have the transaction risk. Now what do we mean by transaction risk in e-business? Sometimes the seller may not have received the order, or the buyer may not have placed the order. The buyer insists that he has placed the order, but the seller would not have received the order. So this is what we call it as the default order. Or then there may be also the problems of payment also. The buyer would have made the payment online, but it would not have reached the seller. So all these become default payments, and as such there are a lot of difficulties to sort out this whenever things go wrong between the buyer and the seller. So all these things we call it as the transaction risks. Then the second kind of risk is data storage and transmission risk. Now what is this data storage and transmission risk? So whenever we have to purchase anything online, that is through the e-business, so we have to give away all our information, like we have to give the place of address and all the personal information relating to the debit card and credit card, etc. And this kind of information, if it reaches to the in bad hands, then we may be at the receiving end. So the proper care should be taken to see that the customer's information is well protected, and whatever data is given, it is properly stored and it does not reach the hands of the hackers. And as such, because of this, we need to have proper data storage and transmission risks are there. So whenever information is given out, there may be hackers who may, through the cryptography, they may just hack the information and use it for their own evil ways, and as such it is very, very dangerous to give over this information. Then next one is risk of threat to intellectual property and privacy. So whenever information is given through online, it will be going on in space, so it will be out there. So anybody who is a very good hacker, he can make use of that information for his own a personal benefit, and as such it is very, very dangerous, and it is intrusion into the privacy of the person who is giving out the information. Then we'll have a look into what are the resources required for e-business implementation. For e-business, we are required additional resources for developing, operating, maintaining and enhancing a website, where a site means a location and web means World Wide Web. Simply speaking, a website is a firm's location on the World Wide Web. Now, what are the resources we need for e-business? First thing is we need to have a personal computer, and then we need to have the internet. So we need to have a very good website. What is this website? So to construct a website, we need persons who know how to develop a attractive website, operating, maintaining and enhancing a website. So where a site means a location. So it does not generally mean a location as geographical location, but it is a virtual location, and web means the World Wide Web. So that is www means World Wide Web, and as simply speaking, a website is a firm's location on the World Wide Web. So with this, we have come to the end of this first session on emerging modes of business. Hope you have all understood what is the e-business and what is e-commerce, the difference between traditional and e-business, and also the various limitations and benefits of e-business. Thank you.